I'll go first question. I mean, what is your background in, I guess, design, entrepreneurship, and
Yeah. So it goes kind of both ways for both design and entrepreneurship. Design kind of grew up making, I'm not an engineer by trade, but I kind of think like an engineer, I'd say. At Marquette, I was just an entrepreneurship major, and the business school, I wasn't anything on the engineer side, but like grew up with Lincoln Logs and building snow forts, and I built something that you could use down there right now. I built a snow maker in high school, so we made our own snow in our backyard for like backyard snowboarding, backyard skiing. So that was kind of my high school days. Made surfboards in the garage, kind of anything with a power drill and a jigsaw, put to work. And then when college came around, I started a backyard ice rink business. Kind of in the suburbs of Chicago and Wisconsin, kind of throughout the Midwest, people put these above ground ice rinks in their backyard. They set them up around Thanksgiving, take them down in the springtime. But total pain in the ass to put up and put down, unless you're like a bunch of gritty kind of college kids looking for beer money. So we grew up with one in our backyard, thanks to my dad and my brothers who set them up with me. And then my cousins needed one. The whole neighborhood saw it. Kind of word of mouth got around. And I think our biggest year, we were putting up 30 above ground ice rinks across town for these little kids in local parks, to kind of get active and make winter as fun and memorable as possible. So I ran that throughout college, and that's kind of what sparked the entrepreneurship kind of degree and drive. And kind of sunsetted that upon graduating and worked for a couple startups here and there. And around the turn of 2020, so this is pre-COVID, like right around the new year, I was working remotely with my new the startup I was working for with, and I had 2 roommates. So we were in a 3-bed apartment here in Lincoln Park. It was around the holidays, like I said, so they were working remotely as well. And we were all taking calls. One guy was on the couch, another guy was hunched over on the kitchen counter, and I was on the dining table. And I shot down to the coffee shop to get productive, and I stopped myself kind of with a realization of like, this is ridiculous. Like, in order to get productive, I gotta go buy a cup of coffee, get out of my apartment. So I started thinking to myself, like, well, I'm going to get a height adjustable table like we have in the office, and went on to purchase one and stopped myself at the buying process and said, where am I going to put this? Right. I've got 2 other stakeholders. It wouldn't be fair to me to put it in the living area, right? Because what happens when buddies come over to watch college football on Saturday? They're looking at my office. And started thinking, all right, like, what's an innovative way to go about this? And if you take the design of a height adjustable table that's in a commercial setting, they're all the same. It's just a table. They've got the electric functionality to go up and down, but that's pretty much it. They require assembly. They're non-portable. So I was like, all right, well, what other industries have taken a similar issue and tackled it for homes? And look at fitness equipment, right? Over the last 6, 7, 10 years, there's been a boom in-home fitness equipment designed for homes, not commercial gyms, that can kind of play in plenty of spaces. So the Hydro, right, the Peloton, like all these resistant band machines, and the Mirror. So kind of that put it on a napkin, that put Lillipad on a napkin, and fast forward 3 months, the whole world's working from home, and expedited market research. So I hit the garage with my dad, who nowadays is my co-founder, and we started building prototypes after prototypes, hired on a industrial design firm, and here we are 3 years later. We've been in market for approaching a year and a half, and it's been pretty surreal.
So all I got out of that was beer and football inspired an adjustable desk.
And there you go, in little room, in an urban apartment. So hopefully,
what goes into designing an ice skating rink?
The key is to get it in before the ground's frozen. So if you're to that point, it has stakes in the ground. You put these plastic or wood stakes in, and then you put 2 foot by 8 foot sheets of plywood, 3/4 inch pressure treated for those technical people, and build it as large as the yard will let you, and that is determined on the slope of the yard. So the water can't be more than 17 inches in either corner of the ice rink. So kind of build it almost like you would see like hockey boards on concrete at a skate park or in an ice arena. And then you take a huge sheet of plastic, like a tarp that goes over a baseball field, put that above the boards, and then you flood the rink. So and then you got to pray for Mother Nature to get cold.
And how long does that process take?
Yeah, if you got two guys for a pretty average size rink is 60 feet by 40 feet. If you got 2 or 3 guys, it's going to take you an hour and 45 minutes to set up from start to finish. If you're a solo dad trying to tackle a project, it could take you 2 days because you're just lugging you're lugging heavy boards around. You're trying to get stakes into hard ground, and then you're filling up the rink. So the rink fill takes anywhere between 8 to 36 hours, depending on how much water you're doing and how many hoses you have running.
So what took longer then? Did it take building an ice rink or creating a desk?
That's a good question. Luckily, we had the roadmap and the blueprint on how to build an ice rink. So that is a quick and easy one to answer. The desk took far more. So we went through about 4 garage prototypes. And what I mean by that is going from like a wood prototype to a PVC prototype. And what I mean, a desk's made out of wood, desk's made out of PVC and plastic, and then a fully functioning electronic prototype. And then we brought that to our design firm. They made it manufacturable on a computer and on prototyping machines. And then we went out cold called all sorts of suppliers across the Midwest, like ones that we could drive to. That was a huge filtering process for us. So we could kind of get there within a day's notice to pick up parts or revise parts. And we've got about 60 unique parts to the Lillipad, which is a lot. And it's tough to make something look so simple, but thanks to our great team, we were able to build a fully functioning prototype in kind of the middle of 2021, like a year being into the project, and it's been taking off ever since.
How is the final product look from the original
The first prototype?
Yeah.
Depends who you ask. I think the vision's always been there, right? So the goals that we had set out to solve were portable, to be tucked away, right? And our what we really want to do is fit under majority of bed frames, unfortunately not yours, but majority of bed frames or in a closet. And then the portability with wheels, so easy to push and lightweight. The second priority was integrated features, right? So computer workers today require power, and majority of them require or rely on monitors. So if you're going to be providing a solution for work from home, why not trying to make it the all-in-one solution, just like we've seen in the fitness industry with fitness equipment, right? Some of them provide the monitors, some of them provide weights or the resistance bands that are suitable enough. And then the third one we set out is ease of assembly. So I mean, I can't tell you how many TVs I've hung for my buddies that will give me a phone call late at night saying, I don't have a power drill, can I come borrow yours, right? And I think ease of assembly helps both the end user and the employers who purchase Lillipads for their remote workforce, because it takes risk out of the equation. It gets them set up faster and more efficiently than ever. And it also helps us prolong the life of a Lillipad, because what might fit in your apartment today will certainly fit in your next home or your next apartment when your lease is up. Whereas a traditional high adjustable table, you're gonna have to assemble it, disassemble it, reassemble it, and the lifetime of reassembly is only 1 to 2 times. So all encompassing that, we want to make it as efficient for remote workers to get set up with as little headache as possible.
How'd you come up with the name Lillipad?
Great question. So wanted something more branded to a lifestyle, right? And with kind of lily pads in nature, you'll never see more than one frog on one lily pad, and they'll always be communicating remotely to other frogs on lily pads, and they're very sturdy. When you look at them on top of water, it's like, oh, like that doesn't look too sturdy for the use case, but frogs can jump from one lily pad to another without any problem. And then what people don't really know is that the lily pads in nature will always expand and retract based off the water level. So wherever the stem goes, just like a high adjustable table, we found it pretty applicable. And the draw of having people say like the branded lifestyle of, oh, I'm working from my cabin this week, I'm working from my lily pad, right? It's an all-encompassing workstation.
So was that the first name you came up with, or?
We had two other names in the running, and then I kept thinking about it, and came across Lillipad, and can we spell it in a more unique fashion? That checked the box, and we ran with it ever since.
What was I guess the big break for you? What made you say, you know, we're onto something here?
Yeah, the lack of differentiation in the marketplace, like the headaches of getting high adjustable tables in smaller areas just wasn't available. And so that was reason number one. Reason number two was the problem of like health and wellness in apartments and working from home, right? So working from home is not going away. It's going to be here. In short or large for all types of companies, whether it be 2 or 3 days a week working from home or 5 days a week. If you're 2 or 3 days a week working from home, that's 40 to 60% of your entire work year out of the office. If you don't have ergonomic equipment at home, you're setting yourself up for a disaster. What I mean by that is, all right, you're working from the kitchen table. That chair that you're working on at the kitchen table was meant to be designed to be sat at for 45 minutes to 90 minutes, not 8-9 hours a day. And I can't tell you how many stories that I've heard of buddies that I have who were working from home from a dining room table, pitching long hours, and they used to be marathoners, and now they're not anymore. They're chiropractor patients. And it's just something that we've got to, as kind of a workforce and a society, got to recognize that there is a huge health risk here, and why are we providing ergonomic equipment in the office space but not at the home? And the reason was space. The number one reason that people don't have ergonomic equipment in home is space, and they have nowhere to put it. But Lillipad comes in and addresses that need because it fits any environment regardless of footprint. And for the hybrid model, right, you're 2 or 3 days a week. That doesn't seem like a lot, but the Lillipad allows you to put the desk away. 2 to 3 days a week is not enough to dedicate space for a home office. The Lillipad will come in and solve your problem and give you more room over the weekends and when you don't need it.
Now, did you have wellness in mind when you built this, or did that just become an accidental benefit at the end?
No, that was a leading charge. Because I mean, people in passing have always heard like sitting's the new smoking, and I mean, I've never looked too far into that. I've been more of a realist. But wellness and the ability to kind of have better energy, and if you're living in a smaller apartment like I am, right, being able to collapse it, store the Lillipad away, and if you're doing a floor workout, right, you get all that 4 by 8 square feet back that you really needed to do that floor workout, and pitch it that way. But yeah, no, wellness was a key driver. Obviously in the early days we were very focused on functionality, design of the product, and getting into market, but wellness is part of our mission without a doubt.
And what's some of your fitness background, or some of your fitness activities that you usually do?
Yeah, I wish it was more competitive these days than it used to be. I grew up playing hockey, lacrosse, and football. I played club lacrosse at college and loved it. Nowadays, my fitness is I'm very active on the bike. The Lakefront Trail here in Chicago is, I think, one of the best in the world. Peloton during the winter times, but try to mix it up and get outdoors as much as possible. So whether it's surfing, which sounds funny coming from the Midwest, but there is a little bit of surfing up here in Wisconsin, and if not, then behind a boat. But pond hockey, skiing, You name it. I've got to be outdoors to get that dose of energy.
When people are looking to buy something, and you got a Lillipad or they got one of those little portable stand-up desks, how do you sell the Lillipad and say this is what you need instead of?
Yeah, exactly. So first off, I look toward like what is their situation, right? And like what are they trying to solve for? Are they trying to solve for are they living in like a 5-bedroom multi-million-dollar house with a permanent home office, right? Then like those other high adjustable desks can be great products for permanent setups. If they're trying to solve for, hey, I've living in a 3-bedroom house, both myself and my spouse are working from home, I need a solution that gives us flexibility. Let's look at the Lillipad, because the portability features, the features that can be stored away. But also what we really like to differentiate is Lillipad is an all-encompassing workstation. It's not just a desk. We're providing the power, up to 3 outlets, 4 USBs, as you've seen, the integrated monitor mounts, and the ability to work wherever you want, whenever you want, and having the comfort level that the Lillipad will fit your next setup. The Lillipad will fit your next situation. So one thing that has started to catch on is that it could be the last workstation that you'll ever need to buy, because it has the ability to go anywhere with you and fit any environment.
With the ergonomic features of this, what makes the perfect ergonomic office? As far as accessories, what do you need to go along with this?
Yeah, for sure. So monitors are key. So one thing that can tend to be overlooked is correct like eye positioning and neck level, right? If you're constantly looking down, your head's gonna get heavier and heavier as you're crouched over. So monitor arms are, in my mind, essential, or a laptop stand that can have your camera be at eye level and your screen's at eye level. We've pushed the limits and really thought about designing the Lillipad for smaller homes. And like New York apartments, the doorways are much smaller than they would be in an apartment found in Tampa, Florida, right? They're older. So how deep can we go with the depth of our table? And we pegged that at 25 inches of depth, which gives us enough distance between the monitors and your eyes, which goes into the ergonomics. As far as standing goes, you want your elbows at a 90-degree angle. We can encompass that. The Lillipad comes in 2 models. Comes in the Lillipad 42 and the Lillipad 48. I believe we sent you the 48.
I think so.
But the 42 goes for 42 inches in height. And the reason there is somebody who might be 5'1" doesn't need to be maneuvering a table that's suited for our customers that are 6'7" due to weight and due to maneuverability. Chairs are also important. We don't sell a chair at this point in time, but when you're sitting throughout the day, you want to have a chair that's not going to break your back and leave you hunched over, because that'll lead to some serious long-term damage.
As far as entrepreneurship, what's the hard part right now of getting the word out of a new product?
Yeah, never moves as fast as you want it to, and I don't think any entrepreneur would disagree with that. But selling the differentiation is always our goal. So why the Lillipad at a higher price point, but not the highest price point in the marketplace? Right, you can go on Amazon and get a standing desk for $299 that has like literally none of the functionality that we do, and you can also get that same looking desk, same functionality for $3,000 from some of the higher end players. So as far as entrepreneurship journey goes, getting the word out is key, and getting our messaging of what we're trying to achieve, right? The lifestyle of Lillipad being able to move with you wherever you go. You'll certainly have ergonomics in any environment where they were previously elusive. And just getting as many of these out to customers as we can. We've shipped almost every state in the US by now. People are loving them. Our returns, knock on wood, we've had tremendous success against returns, and it's been pretty surreal to see these reviews come back and like, hey, like my work life is so much better because I found the realization of ergonomics due to Lillipad, which I never thought I would. So it's a cool mission to be on, and we just got to keep on charging ahead and make 2023 a year that's been best yet.
Well, who's been your, I guess your client base right now, or your customer base at the moment?
Yeah, this is a cool one. So we got through about three segments. We've got B2B, where we sell anywhere to large universities in the Big Ten who have staff working from home. So not particularly for their students, but if they're hiring staff all across the country and professors will outfit their home offices. There's obviously the large corporations who have remote workforces, they're clients of ours, and then startup companies who are hiring talent all across the country. So it's a great recruitment and retention tool. We also have the direct to consumer market open. Anyone who's space constrained, working from computers and working from home is in our target market. More active lifestyle is the ones that we pursue, particularly on social media, because it goes hand in hand with those that value health, wellness, activity, will value ergonomics, urban city living, and kind of all the great stuff that comes along with it. And then one of the more ergonomic focused, cool portability markets has been construction sites. So for job site trailers and interior build outs, construction teams are loving these. The reason being is it provides ergonomics where historically the solutions have been foldable tailgate tables, folding chairs, and like pieces of plywood on a sawhorse table, where Lillipad comes in. Ease of assembly, super easy to store for these teams, and also it provides ergonomics both in the trailer, and if they're building out a skyscraper or a warehouse, they might need to be in this 7,000 square foot area this week, but next week they got to be 4 floors up and 20,000 square feet away. So they just push it like a shopping cart, and they can have dual monitors plus a laptop really anywhere on the job site that's needed. And the kind of the feedback is pretty surreal. That's one that we didn't recognize when we launched this project.
I think you just answered my next question, which was going to be, have you gotten any unusual feedback or any unusual uses besides just general office use?
Yeah, that construction's far and away the largest. We've had on the direct to consumer front, there's some pretty cool ones, wood shops, and having them as tables. If you're doing, like, imagine if you're doing puzzles, right? Like when I'm at the garage, my workbench is 42 inches in height, which is not tall enough for me. But think about if you're doing a puzzle, right? You'd be more comfortable doing a puzzle on a high adjustable table rather than a dining table, and the same transfers into the wood shop. We've had a guy who purchased one for his conversion van, and he's been traveling across the country, and he built some hanging mechanism where he just hangs the Lillipad on one of his full kind of swing out doors of his conversion van, and he sets it up in his van when it's needed. Second homes have been a large market for us, and the applicable nature there is if you got a lake house or a beach house or a vacation home, square footage is super valuable, and you don't want to dedicate to like having a home office when it could be a bedroom. And when you ever in guests over, you don't want to kind of have your home office staring everyone in the face. So being able to get productive when needed, but also collapse and store away has been a cool use case.
Now, how many do you have in your place right now? And how many do you use?
I've got one in this bedroom. My wife, I mean, I gave her the entertainment room and the family room, so she works out there with much better sunlight that I wish I could. But in my place right now, just 2. At sometimes we'll have 3 in here with a third under the bed. Well, like pitching these long days, like in Chicago, right, when it's snowing and glooming, like in a dark apartment room like this, like it's so much better to push Lillipad like a shopping cart and start working next to the window. I mean, it makes your life totally different. It gives them, I mean, what they say is vitamin D, right? But just work towards the window, get a better view, kind of being able to move around where the Wi-Fi is best has been a true piece of feedback that we see in our reviews, and just speaking to these companies that are distributed them to their workforce. So it's been a pretty cool mission, and one that we're going to keep charging ahead on.